I'm Sophie, and today I'm going to be doing a quarantine craft for the Duke Public Library. Today my quarantine craft will be water slide decal mugs. For this craft, you will need some water slide decal paper. I got mine from Amazon, but you can also get yours at your local arts and crafts shop like Michael's. This one is for your inkjet printer, and just make sure if you have a laser printer, you get it for your laser printer. It also comes in transparent and white background, so be sure you know what you want before you buy it. You're also going to need your mug, some rubbing alcohol, some lukewarm water, your printed water slide decal image, and depending on what your water slide decal paper requires, you might need to use some clear gloss to spray it. I used this type of gloss and I sprayed it. I had to let it dry for then about 25 to 30 minutes before I could put it in the water and get started with my actual transferred decal onto the mug. This is a more complex craft, so you might want to ask an adult for some help, and it also might take some trial and error before you get it right. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your mug and you're going to take some rubbing alcohol and you're going to spray it on your mug, or if you have it just in the bottle, just pour it on with a cotton pad and wipe it off. And then just take some Kleenex or paper towel and wipe it off and make sure it's dry. This will give you a good clean surface to start with. So for your water slide decal image, you're going to want to print whichever image of your choice. This one I'm going to make a Father's Day mug for my dad, and I'm going to be using his favorite tractor as a picture. And what you're going to do is after you print it, you're going to cut out your image to fit your mug. And if you have to spray it according to your instructions with your clear gloss, now's the time to spray it. You'll then have to let it dry according to how long your spray says and the water slide decal paper says. It kind of depends on whichever one you get. Once you let your image dry really well and it's no longer sticky to the touch, that's how you know it's dry. Then you're going to want to put it in some lukewarm water. And as you put it in your lukewarm water, it'll kind of go down to the bottom and the edges will curl up a bit. Depending on what water slide decal paper you get, that's how long you leave it in the water. Mine's about 30 seconds or so, so just make sure that you keep an eye on it and make sure that it's starting to curl, because that's how you know it's ready to transfer. Some might be a little longer, so just keep an eye and make sure you read your instructions with your water slide decal paper. You're going to want to make sure the whole image gets wet and really saturated, and it should start to peel off from the backing a little bit as it's soaking in there. So that's kind of when you know when you can start taking it off. So once you take it off, depending on whether you printed your mirror wise, then it'll depend on which way you can put it. You can slide it on this way where you pull the back out, but that's kind of tricky. So if you have words on your image, if you just mirror it and flip it over, it's a lot easier to pull the back off this way. You're going to want to try line up your image straight as you can on your mug. If it's not perfectly straight, that's totally fine. And then you're just going to want to slowly start to peel the bottom part off of your image. It should slide off relatively easily. If it doesn't, you didn't leave it soak long enough. So then your image should look like this. What I'm going to do now is take a silicone brush. I'm going to dip it in water. And I'm gently going to get all the bubbles out of there, because now there's air bubbles from when I put my image down. And usually on ceramics like this mug, it suggests to put them to bake. So when you bake them, then it will have these weird air bubbles in it if you don't smooth them out really well. So that's one thing to be really careful for. Baking totally depends on which water slide decal paper you get. Mine, I believe, is 350 degrees for 15 minutes. So just double check again with your instructions on how long it is. You can also use your finger to kind of smooth it out. And make sure that you keep adding water to it, because water is what helps it move. If you don't use enough water, your image will start to tear like mine did in the corner. That's totally fine. You can actually then, if your image is starting to tear away a bit, if that part's not really important to the image, you can kind of just rip it away. If you're using a landscape photo, if you're using a word photo and part of the word starts to rip away, you can try your best to play around with it and see if you can fix it. If you can't, now would be the time to take it, wipe it off, and start all over. Like I said, this is a trial and error project. It takes a lot of practice to get it right. So then, once you get it to as close to perfect as you can get it, your image should look something like this. When you bake it, it will change a bit. The colors will probably be a bit more vibrant. And you can see that all these little dots on it are where I sprayed it with my gloss. I didn't get it covered all the way. So you're going to have to go over with your gloss probably at least 2 times and make sure that it's really saturated and covered, because you'll end up with some little dots in there. But otherwise, that's pretty much all there is to doing a water slide decal image. So I hope that you guys have fun trying to do this, and I hope it turns out well. Like I said, if it doesn't work, just try again. You'll get it eventually. I also think that this would make the perfect Father's Day gift for your dad. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.